Hey everybody, welcome to another entry in the Hyrule Compendium, and today we're talking about Link's Awakening, of course. We saw the trailer, and we noted about how a lot of it looks like very similar to the original game, and we're kind of speculating here, are they gonna make any changes to the game?
There was already a few quality of life changes, where I
Yes.
noticed there's like a ledge on Candlelit Castle, Link will be able to jump off. I think this will make the overall experience better. I think when you're fighting Rolling Bones, Link jumps over the little spike roller, so he's clearly using Rock's Feather, but he has his sword and his shield out. So
Yes.
that's 3 items that prior you were only able to equip 2. I have a feeling Link's going to be able to equip like 8 items at once.
Right. Well, so in later handheld games, like a lot of these items, I'm thinking of Minish Cap specifically, or even A Link to the Past, that's not a handheld game but 2D, like just picking up something was a button,
Right.
and using the Pegasus boots was just a button.
Yep.
So I think these might be like permanently mapped to some buttons.
Right. I think the sword will be, the shield will be, the Pegasus boots will be, and Rock's Feather will be, maybe even the power bracelet. And then there will be like, because think of all the buttons from Breath of the Wild, how many buttons there are on this thing. I mean, there's, especially when you use combinations of press up on the joystick, press, and then, or L1, and you can equip like 16 items or something. So they can easily, one click away, map every single item. But I do feel that like 5 or 6 of them will be set buttons. Then I think Magic Powder, the bow, Magic Rod, arrows, the boomerang, those will be the
things that you think of more as traditional items as opposed to running, jumping, grabbing.
Yeah.
Like they're items, but you don't think of them as items.
So I feel those quality of life improvements are for sure happening.
With you talked about Candlelit Castle.
Yeah.
I think there's, like, off the top of my head when we talked about this topic, I couldn't really think of a lot of things like that I would change like that. But I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that, because I've played the game so much, that I won't even have thought could be improved.
Okay.
This happened in Majora's Mask, where they kind of changed how the owl statues worked, and when you get the Song of Soaring, they changed that up. And if you were to ask me before that came out, like, what would you change? I wouldn't have thought of that. But then when I was playing the game, I was like, this makes so much more sense. This is so good.
Yeah.
You know? So I think there might be a lot of little things that
you
wouldn't consider like that.
There's those like weird warp tiles. Once you go to a screen with one, you can like warp, I think there's 4 different locations in the world. I can totally see that being totally revised and maybe somehow connected with your ocarina. Maybe they just totally redo that where there's a warp song. Maybe you don't have to be on one of those, because you can only warp from when you're on that screen.
Maybe they add them like kind of like the weather vanes and a link between worlds. Yeah.
I can totally see that being a quality of life change.
Well, what about, do you think they'll change anything about the ocarina? It's
maybe there might be a 4th song or something.
4th song, or maybe you actually like an Ocarina of Time, you play a little song. I don't think they'll go that far, but that would be kind of cool.
I think it'll still be selectable songs, and maybe because you can go to one of the songs, it just warps you to Crazy Tracy's. Like maybe that's one of the warped locations of this new feature.
You don't need to learn Crazy Tracy's song.
Maybe you just play that song, and then it takes you to the warp screen, and you can choose to go to Crazy Tracy's or the other unlockables locations. Okay,
interesting. Yeah, that's one that's like, well, that'd be nice if they just wrapped it into that, but like, also, I like that song's there, so they gotta keep that alive.
But I do feel there will be some extra content here. And we've seen this with all, I suppose, like 5 of the major re-releases we've had, like with Ocarina 3D, Majora's 3D, and even like A Link to the Past on the Game Boy Advance, where they always added new content. And I feel we're going to get something. I'm thinking we'll probably get some sort of Master Mode or Hero Mode.
That would be cool, yeah.
Maybe just something with like something easy, no recovery hearts, double damage, something like that. Maybe a mirrored mode or something.
I feel like that needs to be standard in Zelda games now.
I was shocked when they chose not to include that with Majora's Mask 3D. It seemed very odd after including it in both Ocarina 3D and Wind Waker HD. Not including that seemed
Yeah, but it's got to be in this. They had it in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
There's a precedent here.
It was in A Link Between Worlds as well, so maybe it's like after you beat the game, there's the second mode.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So I feel they're definitely going to add that. They could add some sort of gauntlet mode or something. I know in like A Link Between Worlds there was the Treacherous Tower. It's like just a, but with like Twilight Princess they added that, what was it, the Cave of Shadows I think it was called, where it's like sort of like the Cave of Ordeals but just with the wolf. It's just like an enemy gauntlet, and I can see that's like it's just a little cave here that they add to the overworld, like when you're strong enough come and challenge us. And I totally,
that would be cool, but I'm kind of skeptical that they'll do it. But
I feel it doesn't take away from the game itself. It's just like a bonus area, sort of like when they re-released the game on the Game Boy Color. They added a whole optional dungeon.
Yeah.
Maybe, and it was the color dungeon. And then you got to choose the blue or the red mail, whether you want to do attack or defense.
Yeah.
Maybe they have this second gauntlet mode, and then you get the other reward or something. So maybe you can get both rewards or something along these lines.
Yeah, that could be kind of cool.
I feel that there hasn't been a remake where they haven't added some content. So even in some of the games like Twilight Princess, they didn't add too much. They added the stamps, they added hero mode, and then they added the Cave of Shadows, as I talked about, and that seems like they didn't change much. But if that's the precedent, I can't imagine them just re-releasing this game.
I mean, we've only seen so like a certain amount, but like it seems like a lot of what the original game is will still be intact. I don't think they're gonna like take an area of the game and change it entirely.
No, little changes, I think.
But they could add, like a one screen, could have like a little cave you go in and it's the dungeon or whatever.
It doesn't even need to change the world at all.
Yeah, you could just.
There could be just like a hut in Animal Village. Like you go into a house and then, there's a back door to this thing, and where does this go? And suddenly you're there.
Do you think they'll keep the river rafting the same?
That took up so many like areas. Granted, now this is not a screen-based game. Like it's not like like that could be reworked a little bit.
Right.
I think they might totally change that game a little bit. It'll be the same concept.
It'll the same concept. Okay.
Maybe revisit, because I don't think that's anybody's favorite location of Link's Awakening.
Right. Do you think they'll add anything like a collectible or?
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking like it was more like they took something away, but they added like the stamps to Twilight Princess.
Right.
Yeah.
And they kind of just changed those. They didn't really add those though. They just replaced.
That's what I'm saying. They like you don't need an orange rupee here. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was fun. It was not that the stamps were the greatest thing, but they were more exciting than getting another yellow rupee or another blue rupee. It was just something else. Like that's actually not exactly the greatest compliment, but
yeah,
it was just nice to some diversity.
A little collectible.
Yeah.
Well, first I was gonna ask, do you think they'll add like some mini games or something? But then my mind went to Majora's Mask, and I think they'll add some more fishing holes.
Yeah, maybe I can believe that. Like,
there was 2 more fishing holes.
That was what Majora's Mask was missing, a fishing hole, but not one. They need 2 of them.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I think Link's Awakening is the first game to have fishing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think they need to up their fishing hole game here.
You heard it here first. No, I think overall, though, the game will still be the base game. Yes. Unfiltered, like not changed, nothing.
Yes.
And then there will be some extra stuff.
Of course, yeah. I don't think they want to mess with the original core too much.
Yeah,
like for the old time fans.
I don't even think we'll get like Majora's Mask total, like kind of made more notable changes to the gameplay with the time system. You can fast forward to a specific location, and I think there will be less changes than even that.
Right. You don't. Do you think they're probably not going to change? Are there any bosses that come to mind that were bad that they could fix?
No, I think that will maintain itself.
I think most of that is all pretty solid.
Yeah, it's another Majora's Mask change. They just revamped all of the boss battles.
The biggest problem someone could have going back to Link's Awakening is just like getting into that old kind of control scheme.
That will fix itself,
yeah,
I feel.
I think a lot of the bosses will just be more fun for people because you have the 8-way motion.
Yeah, and I don't think the bosses from Link's Awakening, they're not very memorable. I think some of them, but they're not weak. I don't think.
Some of them are kind of unique and fun. So
I remember like the eagle. He's kind of
Eagle's
cool.
cool. There's like that clown guy. He's funny.
Genie, yeah.
Genie. And of course, there'll probably be some better maps.
You got me excited now.
All right, so yeah, that's what we think. I mean, those are a bunch of ideas, so I don't know if all of that'll be in there, but for sure the fishing holes. Let us know what changes you would like to see, or if you, I mean, maybe you haven't even played the game yet, so who knows. If you want to suggest some other topics for us to talk about, like we've been saying, come into our Discord, come into our YouTube chat, let us know what you thought about this, and obviously let us know what else you'd like us to talk about. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe, the notification bell is a thing, and of course, thanks for watching.